All right, hey guys, what's up? Zuch here. I'm going to be recording some videos again for this weekly, I guess, weekday Prismata video series that I've decided to do. And with me today is none other than Aetherllama, who I don't know if you're still in the top 10, but you were in the not too recent past. So quite the proficient Prismata player. You want to say hello, introduce yourself,
Yeah,
whatever?
yeah. Hey, I've been playing Prismata for a long time, so I got Zuch into the game, so I'm gonna
Yeah,
help him out.
yeah.
See
Aetherllama's
how quickly he can catch up to me.
Yeah, he's the one who told me to start playing. Well, I had a couple other folks too, but with the huge influx of people telling me to play the game, I figured I would give it a try. So what we're gonna do is jump into games. I'm gonna sort of talk about my overarching thoughts as like a middling slash new player, and he'll give me maybe a say if I'm right or if I'm wrong and what I should be doing differently, maybe. All right, so this right here looks to me like a huge economy set. Oh my gosh, we've got Energy Matrix, Odin, and Centurion, and Centrifuge.
Yeah, you've got basically the two best absorbers in the game in the same set, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean you'll need one of them.
All right, so we're clearly, I think, going to. I want to turn the sound down just a little bit. We're clearly building a third engineer here. I think that goes
Yeah.
without saying. And then the question is, at what point do we, like, at what point can we play Vivid drones in order to get some tech buildings out sooner, if that's even an option? Do we want to use this centrifuge at all? And if we do we want to maybe use it to cast this Odin so we don't have to play a third Blast Forge, or do we want to just cast the Centurion with it? I don't know. Here's my thoughts. We're building a third engineer here. The following turn, we can build 3 drones, and then the following turn after that, we've got the pretty convenient 3 drones plus Blast Forge move. Is there any room for Centrifuge or Vividrone in that play? Anything?
Uh, yeah, I mean there's a lot of room for opening variation because there's Vivid Drone.
Yeah,
So you can kind of get however many engineers you feel like, because with Vivid Drone, as long as you're buying normal drones with your Vivid drones, you're not going to run out of drones to consume.
sure.
You can basically spend energy as if it was gold
Okay.
to
So
buy Vivid drones.
maybe we buy a fourth engineer, and that would allow us to buy 4 sources the following turn. Let's see. Hold on. Is that? Oh, we can't. We don't have enough mana.
Yeah,
Never mind.
with this turn, you probably just want to start with the third engineer since this is what fits.
Yeah,
But in future turns, you could maybe uh, find some variations.
yeah. And just as an aside, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be making mistakes. Like, I tend to do better when I can like think in my like little secluded mind's eye, and when I have to talk about my moves, I feel like I make a lot of misplays. But we'll see.
Yeah.
Is there a way that we can get this? Like, I'd love to get the first Odin. It feels like whoever gets the first Odin often ends up controlling the tempo of the following turns. But I guess with Centurion and Energy
That's
Matrix, maybe that's not the case.
right. That's often true, but since there's a Centurion for I mean, it's the best prompt absorber in the game. You just counter their Odin with the Centurion, and
Yeah,
there's no good follow up to Odin like Drake to keep the pressure going. You're just like, oh, now I've got 3 blue.
yeah.
Or if you got it, I mean, if you got it off Centrifuge, then you can do some boars maybe, but not a huge follow up.
So here's my thought. Like, we can get these 3 drones. We can do this and play a Blast Forge. I don't love the idea of not playing, like, maxing out our drone production, because this is like 1 mana less next turn, but it does let us play this. And maybe we could play
I don't think you need a blast
Blast Forge
forge
just
here.
early. Yeah. It, it felt early, but I'm a huge fan of Ebb Turbine, so I don't know if there's any merit to playing that in lieu
Yeah,
of one of our other economy units. All right, so
yeah.
go ahead. Sorry.
Ebb Turbine is interesting. It's kind of like you use a blue as an energy, which is not very efficient, but you can sell your drones later in the game. It's not going to be good early in this game because you want a lot of drones, but it'll be good later.
Yeah. So let me ask this: is there any reason that we should do something different here, other than this like standard opening? Like, feel like we're missing a lot of potential with these vivid drones just by playing regular drones.
Yeah, so again, since one blue doesn't do a whole lot except buy Ebb Turbine, you should think about buying a centrifuge and see how that can fit into your turn
Yeah.
efficiently.
We could do this. That would let us play it. Especially we get to like counter his centrifuge as well.
Yeah, this is so I mean both of those lines use all your gold
Yeah.
and energy efficiently, and this way you get a centrifuge instead of a blast forge, and the blast forge doesn't do anything immediately really.
Yeah.
So this is better.
Um, one thing that we should ask ourselves, I guess, is do we use this centrifuge to cast a Centurion, or do we use it to cast an Odin so we don't have to buy another, like a third blast forge? Any thoughts on that? Like,
or both. um, yeah, it'll depend on what he's doing since he got the first one.
sure.
So, I mean, if he buys Odin, you're probably going to have to use yours to buy Centurion.
Sure, sure.
If you get 3 blast forges and you have, you probably won't be able to get enough gold for it, but 3 blast forges and 38 gold, you can buy both.
That's true.
Not sure if that's entirely necessary.
Yeah, but then we're only on blast forges from there on out, which I don't know if that's good or not. I mean, you'd probably have to invest in some other type of tech unit at some point in time. All right, so we can do this. How are we comparatively mana-wise? So he has 15 mana. We've got 15 mana as well, so...
yeah, you had 15 at the start of your turn, so he's got the first centrifuge, but you're ahead on drones.
Yeah. And I think he's been making vivid drones, which while they're more economical, they take 2 energy, so you can't like... I don't know. A vivid drone does not equal 2 regular drones in terms of future gold production.
Yeah.
All right, so I think
you'll be able to sell your drones with Vivid Drone, sort of, or with Ebb Turbine.
Yeah. I think we do this instead of the Vivid Drones, because we could cut 2 of these drones, which would put us at 7 mana, and we could play a Vivid Drone, but then what do we do? Play an Energy Matrix? That seems like a little not very useful. I do like the idea of getting an Ebb Turbine. Like, he has almost no regular drones, so this is going to be rather, not useless, but certainly not nearly as helpful as our Ebb Turbine is going to be in the future.
Yeah, with so few drones, his Ebb Turbine is almost worse than just 2 normal drones.
Yeah, you can't block with it.
So you started with Blast Forge, which means you probably are going to go for Odin this game. Alternatively, you could have started with maybe an Animus to just pump out Tarsiers and maybe skip Odin.
Okay. Skip Odin entirely?
Yeah, you can skip Odin when there's no good blue sinks, no blue attackers.
Okay.
And also when there's a different absorber. Often you'll want to absorb on Odin. It's better than absorbing on wall.
Sure.
But since you have Centurion, you're never going to want to do that.
Okay. Oh, noted.
So it's possible to skip Odin here, but since you got the Blast Forge, I mean, Odin's also, it's an okay attacker as well. So
yeah, one of the things that I sort of like struggle with is my assessment of units, and to me, Odin's one of those units that's just like OP as fuck. Like, getting an Odin down just wins games frequently. All right, so we do have an absurd amount of mana here. We're gonna have, let's see, I'm just gonna do something quickly. So we'll have 34 to 37 mana next turn, plus whatever we don't spend. So we can get an Odin, which will put us at 14 mana at a minimum. And what do we want to do with that 14 mana? 2 Tarsiers? Or...
Well, I assume, so his Centurion, his Centrifuge is coming off, so he's going to get a bunch of damage probably.
Sure.
So you're going to think of how you want to defend that.
Okay, so...
And the most obvious way is Centurion.
Sure, okay. So then, let's see, what do we do with our extra mana, I guess, at that point in time?
So you can try to get 2 Blast Forges here and see if you can buy an Odin.
As well?
Yeah, on the same turn. You'll end up floating a red most likely. But
We
So it looks like
are going to be short.
you're one short like this.
Yeah.
So maybe instead of getting an Odin, you can just go for some Vors and Tarsiers
Okay. So,
with an Animus, maybe.
like that. All right, we could do
Yep.
that. We'll have 17 mana, and we'll have 3 red floating, so that'll put us at 5 extra mana. What else do we want? And we'll have a blue that we could make. We could use this and, I don't know, play a steel splitter or something like that. I don't know. I'm just going to go with this.
Yeah. You got options.
Sure. You also might want to just... I know we'll be slightly over defending, but... Okay. This dude's all about these vivid drones.
Oh, one thing I forgot to mention is that Ebb Turbine produces energy,
Yeah.
which can be used both for vivid drones and for electrovore.
Electrovore, yeah. That's a good point.
So you want to keep that in mind.
Is it worth it playing just Tarsiers right now? Because... Or is it worth just like spamming these Electrovores from the outset? I worry about that simply because I don't want to overload our poor engineers, which at least one of them might be dying.
Yeah, so you're gonna have to consider. Basically, you're gonna get Electrovores no matter what at some point. It's just the timing on them,
Yeah.
and the timing tends to be once you go over the absorb barrier, which since he has an Odin and no second blast forge, the absorb barrier is 3 damage. So you have 2 right now. So
Okay. Is there any
Tarsiers can be okay.
Is there any merit to playing? Well, let's do this first. Any merit to playing this wall right now just to use the blue? We're going to be over defended, but I don't really know what else we would be. Or is this an opportune time to start sacking stuff with Ebb Turbine? Or is that a little too early?
Well, you can use Ebb Turbine and then buy Vivid Drones to kind of like gain a gold.
Okay, that's a good idea.
Change an energy for a gold. And I'll also buy a Steel Splitter, yeah. So you're only losing 2 engineers if you fire his Odin, so you probably won't even fire it.
Okay,
So you
nice.
don't get a wall.
And at what point should I just start spamming Ebb Turbine clicks?
From now on.
Okay, that's
the end of the game.
That's what I sort of thought.
Yeah, so generally it's once you hit the absorb barrier.
Okay.
Yeah, there's kind of like an inflection point in the game where you're buying drones and then you start to buy attack, but it's not very good attack because it's just getting absorbed. That was this turn right here.
Yeah.
The only attack you got was Centurion and a Steel Splitter, but Centurion isn't a great absorber, so that's fine. And you got the Tarsiers so that you can kind of jump over the absorb barrier really fast, right?
Yeah.
With these Tarsiers coming in along with Electrovores that you make on the next turn. And once you're dealing real damage, you're in the cell drone phase where you're clicking Ebb Turbines, you're making force fields if you need to.
Well, to that
you're
end,
not buying drones.
To that end, we probably need to get a conduit, right?
Well, there's no more green units in the advanced set except Gauss Charge, which isn't very good. Force field is fine late game, but you have Matrix, so Matrix and Wall are probably more efficient than Force Field.
Sure, especially
so you can
since
get more Blast Forges instead.
Okay. Well, I think there's one more turn of Tarsiers potentially warranted, and then after that we can maybe switch to some Electrovores because some of these could be dying pretty soon. Who knows? We don't need to do that, but we do need to play a wall so we don't have to lose our Steel Splitter if he attacks with everything. Is that?
Yeah, generally it's basically a 5 and a blue Steel Splitter to buy this wall here, so that's good. I think I would start buying Electrovores. You can buy Electrovores this turn.
We'd have to
then maybe some more Electrovores and some Rhinos later in the game.
Okay. We probably need to could make 1 engineer, so we'll have 2 for next turn. Although we'll have the energy. Although we're going to be losing.
Engineer is fine for defense. I think you need a second blast forge,
Yeah.
just for more tech, and then you can buy Vivid Drone or more engineers, whichever ones you want.
All right, we'll do that.
Yeah, that looks fine.
Yeah. And now after this turn, we'll be getting into above the absorb barrier. Although he'll probably buy an energy matrix here and then start attacking with Odin, I assume.
He has Centurion set up.
Oh yeah, he has the green still from the centrifuge.
Yep.
Well, I gotta say,
you had 6 damage even before you bought the Electrovores, so these Electrovores will be doing real damage.
Huzzah. Well, I gotta say, I'm a little worried. We're down on mana right now, and I think not very high on attack either comparatively. So I have some real concerns about winning this game.
Yeah, well, I like to think of Odin as 1 damage attacker. It's trading a Steel Splitter for a wall and doing 1 damage, kind of.
Gotcha.
So,
all right.
If you consider that, then it's a pretty even game.
All right, so let's see. I think if I get a wall, I get to save some of these engineers, and I don't have to worry about buying them. And then maybe it's a good point now to start buying rhinos. Is that crazy? Or is it a little too early?
I think I would buy some more Electrovores probably.
Okay.
Before I start buying rhinos.
2? Like, how many engineers or how many Vors can we possibly support here?
Well, spend all your stuff and see how much.
All right. Do we need to Ebb Turbine here?
Just to play. If you Ebb Turbine here, then you can support all your Vors.
Okay. I worry that we're gonna run out of drones too quickly.
Yeah, you've got 10 drones for this Ebb Turbine. That's 10 turns. The game won't last that long, I don't think. So yeah, these Vors, the first one's kind of free because you have the Ebb Turbine, so the Ebb Turbine will power it. And then you basically get 3 engineers
every turn.
Every turn, and since you already have them to fire your Vors, they're kind of like pseudo prompt engineers because you're always going to have them, so you're just replacing them and then they die.
Sure.
So 3 engineers per turn as kind of like efficient defense at only 2 gold each.
Well, I guess my big concern about sacking a drone every turn is that, I mean, if you really think this game's going to last less than 10 more turns, it's probably fine. But he's already up on mana. Like, we've been pretty aggressive with sacking so far, and I just worry he's going to be able to make time up.
Yeah. Well, there's no real point in having a big econ at this point in the game. We've already hit the absorb barrier, so you just want to have more attack than he does.
I think we have to go with... I don't think we can support more than these Electrovores. Am I crazy?
That seems pretty reasonable, yeah.
We could do Steel Splitter and 2 engineers here, and then he's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we might not be able to attack with one of them if he goes all out, which he probably will.
It seems likely.
That's all right.
I mean, you could buy Tarsiers and an engineer instead of these rhinos if you want to fire the Vors.
Yeah.
It's not too bad.
Yeah, I really like getting rhinos early. Maybe I'm wrong. It feels like Tarsier's too late in the day at this point. Am I crazy?
No, it is kind of like the rhino phase in the game as opposed to the Tarsier phase. But it just so happens that in this case you could have bought an engineer which could allow your Vor to fire. So
sure. Okay.
these rhinos are actually only increasing your damage by 1 this turn instead of what they would normally do.
That's true.
2.
That's a good point.
So yeah.
That's a good point. We could have bought 1 rhino, 1 tarsier, and a wall. I don't know. That's probably not worth it.
You could have also bought an energy matrix if you wanted to get the enough defense and the rhinos.
Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe we should have done that.
Plenty of options.
Time is up. Alright, we're attacking for 13. He's attacking for 13 as well. 5, 10. This is bad if he... This is not good. It gives him a little bit of granularity, right? Well, we've got this guy here that
your defense is very granular, so your defense is fine.
Okay.
You just need to make these engineers.
Yeah.
And it's looking all right. So notice that he's on his last steel splitter, so he'll either have to keep making a steel splitter or Odin is gonna stop firing.
Sure.
He also bought a second animus, and I'm very rarely a fan of the late game animus.
Sure.
As you can see, he's just wasting this red, so it's kind of a waste of 6 gold for him.
Yeah, it seems a little ambitious, especially with no drones. At this point, okay, hypothetically, let's talk future talk. If we breach him, do we go for his Vivid drones or his Tarsiers? It feels like Vivid drones the more high value play, but I just don't know.
Right, so it's 3 gold income versus an attack income, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Usually you consider an attack to be worth between 2 and 3 gold, depending on what else is in the set.
Okay.
So it depends on how much you need the effective defense of killing an attack, right?
Side note, getting rid of Rhino is better than getting rid of Vor here, because we'll be able to attack with all 4 here. So, yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, you can do that.
Alright, we need a significant amount of block. But 4 of this damage is fake, right?
Yep.
So he's only attacking for 11, so this will cover it.
Mm-hmm.
But we need
some engineers.
Yeah. Are we gonna waste this blue though?
Could buy a matrix instead of the wall.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's why I pay the big bucks, Aetherllama.
Yeah. It's a pretty natural switch to make when you're floating a blue and you want to, like, you're defending with wall, you're floating a blue. The matrix is just 3 gold for another 2 defense.
Yeah, it seems pretty solid. My dog is crying in the background because she wants She wants a treat, but the joke's on her. There are no more treats in the treat jar. She ate them all. All right, I'll be honest. I'm not quite sure. I think we're winning here if he's having to leave stuff back. Also, he's not granular whatsoever. So, like, what's the best amount that we could attack here for?
Well, if he has this defense, then
5, 10.
Oh, leaving back that many Ronas, he's actually pretty granular.
Yeah. It's kind of annoying, but
it's fine.
Yeah. We don't really have to
just attack from. So this loses his matrix.
Yeah, 10.
So if you attack for
1 less.
Or sorry, this is actually perfect because this. I meant the only thing that survives is his matrix.
Well, Odin survives too, right?
He could keep Odin instead of the matrix. You're right. Okay.
All right.
So he's losing 3 damage. At least.
I'm trying to think of how to do this. I guess we do that. We don't get to... Oh, we could do this. There we go.
Yeah, that's pretty decent. You're over defending, but you want to keep your engineers and your rhinos alive anyway, so it's fine.
Yeah. We're over defending just by a little bit, and This way I don't have to buy engineers in the future, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, one thing you can do is when you start over defending and you just end up with a stack of engineers, you can just buy more electrovores.
Yeah, that's a good point. Instead of these rhinos, I guess.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, with as long as you have electrovore in the set,
Victory.
your over defense can be turned into attack.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
You just have to realize that you're over defending.
All right, well, that was game number 1. What are your thoughts? Like, what did we do well and what did we do poorly there?
Okay, well, you got the first Centurion, and you got it immediately once he started attacking you. So he bought his Odin, and then you basically just countered his entire investment there with your Centurion. So his early Centrifuge, his early Odin, it just ran into your Centurion. You had to make the investments later, so you were able to invest more in Econ, and you countered his early investments. Then you transitioned very well from the make drone phase to the he's absorbing. I'm going to make some attack with the Tarsiers and the Centurion, and then into the cell drone phase, clicking the Ab Turbine every turn, making Electrovores, then making Rhinos.
Yeah.
So,
I gotta say, I was a little suspect that clicking at every turn would not result. I was worried that it would result in us being way too low on econ, but I guess it turned out to be pretty good. And how many turns did it actually end up being? Because you said it was not going to last more than 10 turns, and I think it ended on turn like 14 or something, or that he conceded on at least.
I don't remember what turn it was, but it was. I mean, you still had drones left, so there were definitely. I think it only lasted like maybe 5 turns after that or something.
Gotcha.
Right.
All right. Well, let's go to our next video, which will appear tomorrow. So we're gonna record it right now, though. So it's gonna be a day for you and 10 seconds for us. See you then.
All right.